Okay. Parshas Toldos begins the story of Yitzchak, and what you have is Yitzchak in his travels winds up in the city of Gerar. It has a king Avimelech, and it's the people are the Pleshtim. And when he arrives there, he is accepted there. It has a few difficulties, but the king takes care of him. And then he sows a field, and the field is extremely prosperous. It says in the Chumash that it got 100 times the normal amount of produce that a field would have. And it's an extreme situation, especially given the fact that this is a year of famine. And Yitzchak is generally very prosperous. He winds up with flocks, and he winds up with servants. He has a lot of money, and he has a lot of things to do. And what happens is that the Pleshtim become very jealous of him, and the wells that Yitzchak has dug, basically for the use of himself, his flocks, they start to fill in. Then Avimelech, the king, comes to him and tells him he must leave. And he says it's because he's become too powerful for them, or too the word is atzmut, independent. They can't control him. There is a concern that if there is a war, that Yitzchak could side with the enemy, and the enemy could prevail over Avimelech. In addition to that, Avimelech becomes a target for mockery. People say that they would rather have the fertilizer from the mules of Yitzchak rather than the gold and silver from Avimelech. That this is how successful Yitzchak is. He's competing with the king. That people would, his house is larger than that of the king. So there is a conflict. So Yitzchak is not happy about the situation, but he does in fact leave. But he doesn't go all that far away. He starts digging another well, and the shepherds of Gerar quarrel with him, and they say this water is ours. And the quarrels continue, and Yitzchak even moves further away. And at that point, they don't quarrel with him. And what happens is that Avimelech comes, and he comes with his general, and he comes with a group of his friends. And Yitzchak is surprised by the visit. He says, you guys threw me out. You obviously don't like me. Why are you visiting me? So Avimelech replies that we have seen that you're blessed by Hashem, and we never did you any bad. On the contrary, we did you well while you were by us, and we sent you away in peace, and we want you to, or he doesn't say it precisely, that he says that there should be a formal oath between us that you will not treat us poorly because of the fact that we drove you away. So Yitzchak agrees to this, and he makes a banquet to celebrate the pact. So what we see from this is the beginning of the fulfillment of the prophecy of given to Abraham, given the Bris Bein HaBesarim, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yitzchak, your children will be sojourners in a land not their own. And the 400 years that is mentioned in Sefer Shemos about the Exodus from Egypt counts the date of Egypt as 2448 and the birth of Yitzchak as 2048 from the creation of the world, and says that's the 400 years. In fact, Avraham, Yitzchak's father, was also very wealthy, and he also was a military power to the extent that he could beat the four kings in a war who had just defeated Sodom, the 5 cities of Sodom. And not only are the people not jealous of him, but they crown him as the father of a multitude of nations. So Avraham was trusted, Yitzchak is not trusted. So what we learn from this is that there are times to move on. That when Yitzchak was dwelling among the Pleshtim, there was something for him to learn, something for him to do for them. There was an aspect of tikkun hanefesh and tikkun haolam. But once that that spark had been elevated, there was really nothing to hold him in that place. And other places began to draw him away. In addition to that, the idea of the Canaanites is that they're going downhill, while the Jewish people are ascending. That Avraham got along well with the Pleshtim. Yitzchak leaves them in peace. Yaakov doesn't have anything to do with Avimelech, but his daughter is basically raped by one of the Canaanite princes. And when the children of Israel leave Egypt sometime later, then they will seize the land from the Canaanites, and the Canaanites at that point are specifically considered as very evil. So Yitzchak is being separated from them, but there is a message in our own lives about this, in that you have to know when it's time to move on. It's particularly true when a person is starting out in their career, where they have a job and they learn new things, and they might be intelligent and hardworking, but little by little they become competition for the boss. And then troubles start to crop up. In addition to that, other workers may become jealous of them. When things like that happen, it's time to move on. And when the person moves on, they shouldn't be so concerned about the pressures that force them out of that situation. They should basically accept it as the will of God. And while it might bother them at the time, it's something that they really should let pass. And not only that, but they should remember the good things that the people did for them on the job. And they should even have a little party when they go. And keep in mind that the next opportunity that is just over the horizon may be something much better than what they have at the present time.